think I finished watching the story. What's his name? Brian Reed, the football player.
Yeah.
How he got convicted of rape and all that. Yeah, he, 11 years of his life gone.
Yeah.
I'm appreciating that sandwich, boy, because you never know.
I came in. I was listening to you. I was like, this sounds like something personal. Let me
serious conversation.
I saw Karan. Karan was like, bro.
You never know, might be my last chicken sandwich.
Ain't nobody gonna take your food, bro.
You never know, man. Especially today's climate. You like walk outside and get shot for being black. So you never know.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
You don't want to sit there and think like last thing you think is, man, I should have enjoyed that whole chicken sandwich. And I saved it. I put it in the fridge. Text somebody real quick. You ever seen Blue Hill Avenue? You start writing a message on the side of the wall, chicken sandwich. Chicken sandwich on the side of the wall in blood. Lord forgive me.
Blood.
people have died. Lord forgive me. All right, so let me. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, The Misplaced American. I am your host, Justin White. This week, I have the podcast crew, Young Kings, if you will, redirect. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say redirect. I'm sorry, because Karan likes to say it like a little bumpkin. I have Karan Walker, and I'm sorry, I don't know your last name. It's Devon
Brockett.
Brockett.
Yeah, that would be cool though.
Devon Rocket.
Well, don't give him that. Don't give him that.
How are y'all? How are you Kings doing tonight?
Well, it's daytime over here in the States, but
how are y'all doing in general? And I know I say this lightly because I know this could be a loaded question dealing with two mental health professions. So how are you?
Man, ain't loaded for me. I'm doing good. Well, life is all right now. I ain't got corona. I'm chilling.
I say overall right now, I'm doing all right too. Before it was challenging, but now, things are a little bit more stable and, I feel relaxed. I feel motivated and I feel excited to be on this podcast, bro.
Yeah, I will say, same for me. The previous weeks I was struggling. Like I'd wake up and check my phone. I'd have to put my phone down because I was just reaching moments. I want to cry. I'd break down. I had moments I was on my living room floor, literally rocking, crying on the floor, thinking about everything going on. And I was like, and this is coming from somebody like me. I've never experienced things like this emotionally, having to deal with. And I don't want to start with depression and sadness, but yeah, I'm doing a lot better. I love seeing on Instagram and social media, everyone's protests and positive change. I'm seeing white people constantly you open my eyes. I didn't realize I was this way. I've had people messaging me telling me, oh my gosh, I didn't know I offended you this way when we were younger. We could call you Oreo or coconut. We didn't think that was offensive and stuff I'm getting so much positive feedback that George, I hate to use George. I hate to say George Floyd did not know he was going to become a martyr, but so much good has come from such a terrible situation, and I'm so happy of the good that's come from it. So I will say that much. I'm in so much of a better place today than I was this time last week.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys would like to introduce your podcast. Like I said, you guys are two mental health professionals, and you guys have a very good platform. And I was recently listening to your current episode, so I don't know if you guys want to introduce your podcast, give yourself a little plug.
All right, so as y'all know, if anybody that does listen to us on the outside, we redirect to mental health counselors, bringing our perspectives. Well, two mental health professionals, not counselors, bringing our own perspectives in there, and as young black millennials and whatnot. So y'all who don't know me, I'm Karan, the one with the most handsome part of the podcast, beautiful, sexy, flexy, and all that. So yeah, and then we got my good co-host buddy.
Wow, I'm Devon. I'm gonna start using Rocket, Justin. I like that, Devon Rocket. that made me sound stronger than what I am. It made me sound fast, like an athlete, right?
Yeah, man. Give yourself power. Why not? I heard your whole Black history, and you had a different name every day, so.
Man, I love that. I might go back to that just because, in wake of all this going on, this pro-blackness and protests and fighting the power, I might have to go, man. See that? Justin got two good ideas.
Look, it's giving you life, man. Look, I'm loving this. It gives you life.
Boosting his head up.
I am. I'm the mind. I'm sorry.
No, you pretty much turning a conspiracy brother from Undercover Brother.
I am the greater part of the podcast. I saw Karan do his little bit. I'm the mindful historian, mental health worker as well. Just somebody that wants to do good and see good in the world. But we are Redirect. We make up Redirect. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. It's RD Podcast 1.
So what does, because I know, but for the people listening, what does redirect mean to you guys? Like, what is that? Like, what did you come up with this?
Oh man, so we were trying to come up with names for the longest, and like I'm good with coming up names, but it takes time. And Devon is good at trying to force names, and he was trying to force all these names. Like, bro, it got to come naturally. And we was driving one day, and we was trying to think of names. I'm like, bro, redirect. Because, you know, we work in the mental health field. You know, sometimes you got to, like, take time and shift your attention from one thing to another. Like, okay, you worry about 6ix9ine over here and come out with a new music video that's not important to your life at all. Let's focus time and things that's more important and relevant to your life at this time right now. So we kind of took that perspective, like, okay, we shifted minds. And that's what we came up with. And Devon was like, bro, that is perfect.
That was it. That was it. I will give you that, Karan. You did come up with the name. I'm a high volume type of person with my creativity. So all of them aren't winners, but I'm chucking up the 3. I'll be chucking up the 3, and that's what I was doing.
I don't know much about you, but for listening to your podcast, I feel like I got a good understanding of you.
So he like Monte Ellis out here.
Out of 5 out of the 10 names, I would say I can assume one had to be an African style name.
Actually, no.
None of them.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast, I would think one of the names would be like Kunta Kinte, something like that, or the Roots podcast, or something interesting like that. You know?
Yeah. None of them were. I think the idea. Well, I know the idea was to kind of make it something that was appealing to everybody.
Right.
Yeah, because we didn't want to be like, we didn't want our name to kind of like, say this is all we do.
Oh, okay, that's true.
But we didn't want it to like, okay, our name, this is all we could talk about. No, we want our name to be very broad and things we can talk about.
That makes sense, especially because dealing with mental health, it's not just a race or gender specific thing. Everyone has mental, or not mental health. What was the word? Mental duress or anything dealing with mental problems. It's a universal thing, and so it is something to take very seriously and not take lightly.
Yes.
Yes. So a brief history behind myself and Karan, because I just met Devon like 10 minutes ago. Karan and I grew up together. People who listen to a previous podcast know we've known each other since middle school, I think it was.
I think so.
Karan has gone by many names. We won't go through all of those names, but Karan has a very, very colorful background, colorful past. Listening to this podcast, you think he was a very confident and outgoing male, and I can tell you, growing up, that's something that's new to me.
Shies on no what, boy. Still is now today, but a little bit more boost.
It's like you would think, like, listening to this podcast, like, man, Karan, he bold, he got all the friends and everything, and then all of a sudden, like, like I look back, I was like, man, I remember Karan. I remember girls would be all over Karan, like, oh, Karan, I like your hair. He'd be like.
They want about it.
Oh man!
Karan had girls like, let me braid your hair, and Karan was like,
I got my mama for that. My mama braid my hair.
I got my cousin. My cousin be braiding my hair. Yo, Karan, she's into you. Karan like, man, I got my cousin. I got my auntie.
All I care about, all I cared about was playing video games back then, hanging out with my friends and playing basketball. That's all I cared about back then.
Karan's life back in the day. Well, I'm exposed. We'll get to some serious stuff in a minute, but let's have some fun. Karan's previous life was literally 50% basketball, 50% Halo. Like that's all he cared about. Like that's it. And like sometimes he mix it up. He throw a little 2K when 2K was big. 2K was nice.
Boy, and then like when 2K was good back then, boy.
And you knew without not mess with Karan. Because you walk in the house, I'm like, oh, what's up, everybody? And you see a controller just fly through the hallway and hit the wall.
Yeah. Plenty of controllers in my days.
And for somebody who didn't have a job, he broke a hell of controllers. Like this man, I would say once a week broke an Xbox controller. And again, not having a job, being a 15, 16-year-old kid, I don't know how his mom didn't break his neck.
Well, I think one reason why she did break my neck, because for some reason I always came up with the money by my own stuff when it came to my video games. And where this money came from, I don't know. I wasn't about that life.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't about that life. Wasn't about that life, but I don't know where this money kept coming from.
You did wear a lot of throwback jerseys and puffy coats. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's telling on himself now. He's telling on himself. I don't know where the money came from, but it was there.
This man
was there.
Selling weave, not weave.
It was a good time back then, though, growing up in a small town.
So, obviously, since everything going on in the world, since January, so much has happened. Like, the president almost started. He didn't almost start, but his administration seemingly almost started World War III. The president was impeached. The whole world caught on fire. Australia literally almost burned to nothing. Kobe died. COVID happened. Cop killings, protests. They discovered they announced aliens were real, essentially.
Didn't they say was it Antarctica? They had like STDs in the water or something like that.
Essentially, they were saying how pretty much
some strain,
all these random frozen viruses that's been in Antarctica for thousands of years because ice now melting, now possibly catching new sets of viruses coming free. There's a rumor. I don't know how NASA confirmed it. I know they were announcing that they possibly announced the parallel universe that time goes backwards. All these things are happening. You guys dealing with the mental health field, what have you seen the most that people are affected by mentally the most? Not affected by mentally the most, but what do you think these things bring them down, or have been bringing people down, or distracting them from situations that they should be focusing on? Like, have you guys noticed it? Like, people you work with, people you see, friends or family, even yourselves. Like, have you guys felt yourself being pulled away and having to redirect yourself back to a more positive situation?
Go ahead, Devon. Let you go first.
I want to say this first, Justin. You said the president.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. We ain't claiming him. America's not claiming him right now. We done parted ways. A lot of us parted ways when he was elected, but most of the country seems to be parted ways now. So I don't know.
I said his name. White House. I try to not to give his name power in my pocket. I apologize for saying his name. Disclaimer: it's not a political podcast. We just have our own personal views. We're three young Black kings that like to speak our minds and say our piece. But please continue.
Absolutely, always. This is my opinion. That man in the White House, I will refer to him as.
All right, we'll use that. We'll use that from this point.
That guy,
homeboy.
I work majority with youth, Justin. So they have not, from what I've seen, from what they've disclosed with me, they haven't been affected by most of these things going on. Like, I've tried to have conversations with them about the police shootings and the murders, I should say. But that's something that I do anyways, and they're not really, the virus is not really real to them because their friends aren't being killed by it.
It's immediately affecting them. Yeah.
Yeah. Parallel universe. I don't think they even knew about that. The viruses in Antarctica, all this stuff is just like, it's not on their radar. And I think one thing we have to be mindful of too is if you are dysregulated and there are a lot of stresses in your life, your main focus is going to be on those things first, and then everything else second. So it's like, if I don't, this is just an example. If I don't have a house to stay in, or I don't have food, I'm not worried about the coronavirus as much. Maybe I'm not worried about the coronavirus as much because my basic needs aren't being met. So I'm gonna focus on that first. Karan might have something different because he works with older people, but from what I've seen, I've been more affected than they have. I'm coming into work like, I need somebody to talk to. Who's gonna down and talk to me today?
Yeah.
So for me personally, I'm doing this internship now at an actual counseling place, so I no longer work with kids. So, but from the people I seen and work with, the most I seen them affected by it. Well, I seen maybe one client who's kind of stressing about it and whatnot a little bit, but most of them are still going about their lives normally as much as possible. The only difference about our counseling stuff now, we offer telehealth. So like almost like Zoom, they just do a session on their computer on their phone, so they still get their counseling. It's just a little bit more convenient for them. But I say the people that I've been close to that's probably been the most impacted by this virus itself is probably some of the people in my program at school. And boy, there was a lot of angry white people when they canceled the May commencement graduation and had to push it back. They started a petition saying we willing to risk our lives to still walk across that stage. It's like, if we want to walk across that stage, they should let us do it. I'm like, okay, but you know, there's a lot of old people. There's a lot of old people that got to do the whole ceremony and everything. And you think they want to be affected by y'all dumbness, stupidity? I was like, boy, like I understand, like it's like a rite of passage thing. Like, you know, we went through all this hard work, paid all this money, you get to walk across stage. Yes, I get it, but if you can't do it, you can't do it. Yeah, but ultimately, they pushed it back to like December.
People love pictures, man.
They pushed it back to like December.
People love the IG posts. People love the IG posts. That's all it is. It's all it comes down to. I was reading that earlier. People are willing to risk their lives for an IG post, you know, and that's what it comes down to.
I seen when the protests and all that all started. I seen this lady pretend like she was boarding up a window at a business, and after somebody took a picture, they walked away, got right into a BMW, and drove off.
Wow.
That for a post.
Well, I'm gonna touch for that. I'm touching on that in a second. I do want to reach on touch back on something Devon said. He said he works with kids or younger people, and he said they have been affected. It's weird that it's funny you say that because my friend here, she has two mixed race sons, and they're British, but she has two mixed race sons, black, half white, and one is I want to say 8, and one is like 14, 15. And the younger one, I think I want to say she had the younger one, the 8-year-old, asked. He saw. I guess he's been seeing on social media and the news what's going on in America and what's going on in the world. Everywhere in the world, they're holding up Black Lives Matter and all these signs and stuff. And so he asked her what happened, and she asked her older son, he's like, do you know what's going on? Are you okay? And he goes, yeah, I'm kind of upset about it. And so she talked to me, and she said, you know, like. She's like, honestly, just like, because I guess he was at his father's house. And when he comes home, she said, I don't know what to say to him. She's like, what do I, she's like, me being a white woman, she's like, I've never experienced, you know, the form of racism that's going on in the world. She's like, I've heard of it. I've seen it. I'm not dumb to it. I know it happens, but I've never experienced it. She's like, I've never been a black guy living in a world. She's like, what do I say? And it's weird to me because, you know, coming from somebody who, like growing up, I was given, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. I have an extra side topic for myself. The black rules growing up in the South, for instance. I think we all grew up in the South. I think. So you have black.
Virginia is somewhat South. Virginia
is probably one place is more racist than North Carolina, honestly. But yeah, you have black rules growing up in the South, so you don't get shot. So you don't get judged by other people, and so she was telling me how, like, you know, her son was displaying anger. He was saying how he was upset. He wanted to post about, you know, he did the whole Blackout Tuesday thing, and I was like, hey, like, you know, if he asks about it, if he just want to talk to, you know, reach out to me. I can give him the non-angry black guy talk. You know, I can talk to him. Hey, this happens. I can turn on and off when I'm angry, when I'm that aggressive sounding, you know, angry black man, you know, like the whole. But I can turn it back on also just as easily whenever someone wants to try to come at me incorrectly. But it's weird because I didn't think young people noticed it. You know, I didn't think young people got on Instagram. For me, I thought it was just, here's an Instagram post for likes. I'm gonna post a black picture for likes, hashtag Black Tuesday, and get likes. I didn't think somebody like 8 years old would be like, I'm angry that they're killing people that look like me, and it kind of gave me chills to think about. Like an 8-year-old can look at the world and be like, why, and ask, and from a child's brain and ask, why are you killing someone that looks like me? And they genuinely have no idea why. It genuinely makes me want to cry to think that somebody 8 years old has to try to process in their brain to understand, because my hair dreads up naturally and I walk outside the door and I reach for a wallet, you can shoot me because I fit the description. It's as simple as that. And I don't think a lot of people understand that, because like I said, even I didn't understand that. Because again, I grew up with the set of rules that my dad told me. He's like, hey, you know, something simple like, don't walk around the store with your hands in your pockets, because if you do, you know, you look suspicious. You know, little rules that you get taught, not that look suspicious and not to fit the description, essentially. And so I did think that was interesting what you said. Like, you say you work with kids and they don't really notice it. I think they notice. I just think, they don't care. So when you find that kid that does care, it's like an eye opener, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But then Karan, well, you say you work with like older people. So have you? I guess. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You better ask me a question. I need your question.
With older people, my grandma, she, I asked my mom. I was like, how's the grandma doing? How's granddaddy doing? She's like, they're fine. I was like, how daddy's doing? Like, he's fine. And my dad's old. He's been around for a while. And I was like, oh, you guys doing okay? My mom's angry, but everyone essentially they're all fine. I was like, well, how are you guys fine? And I thought about it. And I was like, well, I guess they've all been through this. Like, this isn't the first time they've seen this. Like, Rodney King was happening when we were babies. Like, this isn't the first time they've seen this. And this isn't the last time they're going to see it, God willing. But it's wild because, for them, it was like water fountains. They drunk out of the water fountain. They were getting dog sick on them. If they looked at a white woman too long, they were getting beat. Yeah. So for them, it was more aggressive. For this, like, I would say, I would like to think I'm doing my ancestors, my grandparents, like not even my aunts and uncles proud to think that I'm stepping out and I'm allowing them to sit in the back seat to this like, hey, take a break. It's my turn to lead the path and to be the outspoken voice to open people's eyes. Like you guys done enough. You paved the way. Now let me walk the path you paved for me, and let me keep paving it ahead for the next person ahead of me. So you say you work with older people. Maybe they don't seem effective because maybe they're just used to it. And isn't that sad to think?
Yeah, but I will make this statement. The people that I work with all have been, with the exception of one, white. So, yeah, I mean, those are the ones who are coming to counseling during this crisis. At least to the place that I'm working at, those are the people who are coming to my center.
Okay.
So that's that. It's hard to say no, because I know you're probably talking about our people, but like I said,
I don't want you to just disclose too much information about other people. But yeah,
I'm not gonna give it that information. I know better. Yeah. I'm saying those are the type of people that's been coming to our center and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. Right. We don't need HIPAA against us.
I'll be like, that was Karan Walker for the record. It was not Devon the Rocket. It was not me.
So obviously with everything, like I'm trying to keep, like I said, to stay on the sad topic. I guess keeping you guys happy is like, I guess personally, like for me to maintain the level of joy that I exude towards people, to keep doing podcasts, to keep smiling in front of people's faces, something I've done regularly to keep myself motivated. Is honestly, I've had to. For every bad thing I read online, I have a website I go to called Good Black News, and I read something positive that's happening in the Black community. So I'll see, protests, a young Black person beat by protests. So I immediately close that. I'll read that. I will read it, and I'll take it in, and I was like, you know what, this is happening. I'll close it down, and I'll immediately go to, no matter how tired I am, what time it is, I'll immediately go down to Good Black News. And I'll read, so-and-so, just a young Black person, first Black neuroscientist did this for the first time. I was like, good on you, man. And so it's almost, I try to keep my balance. I don't know if you guys do anything to keep your balance, to keep your skills at a good level.
Haven't done anything like that, but that's great, though. I just pulled up the website, so I'm going to start checking that out. I didn't know that existed. I needed it.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
I just found out today, a little off topic, that we have Black social media outlets. I didn't know. What's it called? One's called
Melanated People.
I didn't know about that one. One called Star Pages and B Perk. I downloaded them, but I haven't opened them yet. I just happened to see it on Instagram. I said, let me just download it just because they Black and get that support. But I'm gonna check it out though.
Afterwards, send me that, and I'll put it in the bio so everyone can check them out. What was the other one you said? Black. What was the other one you said? Melanated.
B Perk, and Star Pages and Melanated People.
Yeah.
So Black Twitter isn't the real thing.
Black. It's like a sub Twitter. It's like a subcategory within Twitter itself.
Yeah. So I have seen a lot of things about Black Twitter canceling people a lot lately. That's been something I've thoroughly, I almost ashamed of how much joy I've taken in Black Twitter canceling people. Like I almost feel guilty for smiling so much when I see a post, and I'm like, oh, I don't say the N words. I'm like, oh, F you N words. I can't believe these N-words out in the street, these monkeys out in the streets doing this. And it's like and then like Black Twitter goes on a hunt and it's like, oh, this guy is so-and-so from the Clemson College and he started school this year. He's at this major, he lives at this address, and his mom, I was like, Jesus Christ, like I'm about to get this man killed. And then like I look like 2 comments down, it's like they said it's just in the email, somebody sent an email to the school, and the school email's like, oh, I have to say, this person been expelled, and now I'm like, yo,
seen a lot of that.
Yo,
Blue scholarships and everything.
I
don't feel ashamed at all.
I have conflicting feelings about it though.
Why's that?
One of them is I feel like there are natural consequences to everything, and I feel like you should experience that, right?
Okay.
And I'm also a person that believes that people can grow and change, and if you cancel somebody indefinitely, that kind of takes away their ability to change. I enjoy it. Like you said, when I see it, I smile and I'm like, ha, you got caught. That's what you get. You shouldn't be out here saying stuff like that. Like, don't be out here spreading hate. But then like, and I had this conversation with Karan one time. I was like, we love talking about, I grew in this kind of way. From last year, I'm so much different. But then like, we'll cancel people. So I don't really necessarily agree all the way with cancel culture. I don't think people should be canceled indefinitely. I think you should be suspended for some time.
Okay.
Until you can prove that you've rectified whatever issue that there was. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you went to a conference. Maybe I don't know, you watch Hidden Colors of Roots and now you're woke. I don't know. But you did some kind of process of growth. And it's evident. We can see it. And now we're like, okay, you don't need to be suspended no more. But even still, it's like,
I feel like you need to be suspended. Right? You need to be, if you come off of suspension, you still need to have like a collar on or something just to make sure you don't revert back to your old ways, because they can fill in the chat boxes and have you think they woke. Look at Drew Brees. We thought, like I said, he was invited to the cookout.
Ooh,
he was invited to the cookout.
That's a good point.
He showed his true ways, and now he want to apologize, trying to back. No, like
that's a good point.
It's hard. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, yes, probably suspend them and whatnot. But like I said, even then, they could just be putting in the work just to make themselves look good, have that image back, and still having those negative viewpoints and everything.
It's like what
we're saying outside, but not the inside.
It's like what we saying with Starbucks and everything. You remember how Starbucks was like, nah, they can't wear Black Lives Matter apparel.
Right. Yeah.
And then people was like, oh, nah, we about to go to some black coffee shops. And then Starbucks was like, hold on, y'all.
Just kidding.
We were just playing.
all coffee matters now.
Look at our token black guy. He's wearing a Black Lives Matter hat.
Right.
Yo, they're making their own. I saw something that was like they're making shirts.
Jeez.
Like something like that. Yeah. Starbucks is
sick.
Yeah.
They are
because
sick.
They kind of fix it.
They are like, that is sick. Like that is pandering to his best. Like I wanted to get this later in the podcast, but I'm sorry, I can get to it now.
Yeah.
I also want to address something you said in a little bit, but it bothers me how much I'm seeing all this business post, an Instagram post saying Black Lives Matter. They're painting the streets, Black Lives Matter. They're hanging signs on their doors, Black Lives Matter. They're donating money, Black Lives Matter. Yo, tell me why you have one black person in your whole like upper class business that runs stuff. Like you have an office of 50 business owners and your total top floor, and there's 49 white people and one black person. And that one black person is the lowest of the total pole. What are you doing about that? Like, I'm so glad you donated essentially the equivalency of 1 cent of your money to Black Lives Matter. Congratulations! Yeah. I'm so thank you. Yes. Thank you for clearing your conscience. Now, what are you gonna do about the other 364 days of the year about black people not feeling comfortable in your workplace?
Yes,
and I feel like they're putting like everyone's like, yeah, they're painting the streets, they're posting Instagram posts, yo, and. I'm so glad you look good on paper. I'm so glad you're taking good Instagram pictures, but so that's something I heard. NBC and whatever it was treating Gabrielle Union and a bunch of other black women like trash.
Yes. Yep.
So, but I don't own businesses, I don't know. That's. Whew, sorry, that's something that I've been seeing lately. So I've been quiet about a lot lately. because I don't want to take away from because there is positivity. People are seeing.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one that's a killjoy, like the Hotep super woke guys. Like, yeah, but the white man trying to bring us down all the time. And that's not me,
But we have to be careful with symbolic victories, Justin. And I feel like I learned this from a college professor. She was like, being a Black person, you have to have like some healthy level of skepticism, because how we've been treated throughout history, especially in America. They'll say one thing, even with the whole reparations thing. It was like, y'all about to get 40 acres and a mule, y'all. We did y'all wrong, but we gonna fix it. We didn't get that. We get so many promises. We get so many things that are said to us that we feel like finally we're going to get some kind of peace or justice, and it does not happen. How many times have cops been arrested after they've murdered somebody and we're like, yeah, we got justice, and then they're not jailed, they're not,
they get acquitted and all that.
They get acquitted, yeah, they get off, right?
Or they get the bare minimum of what you can get and then get off with a pension.
Exactly. Oh, they were doing good, so we're gonna let them out 10 years early of their 10-month sentence. 10-year sentence. So it's like, that's normal, and I think people have to understand that it's hard being a person of African descent in many parts of the world, because life, society, the government is not going to treat you fair. It's not going to treat you right. So everybody that heard that, understand, y'all were dealing with the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, right? And everybody has their own injustices and things that they deal with. So I'm not going to say that no one doesn't deal with oppression, but y'all were dealing with COVID largely. Y'all were dealing with that. We have been dealing with racism before COVID, and then COVID came along, and we had to deal with COVID, and then we had to deal with more blatant racism that you can see online. I should not have to scroll on social media and see 10 videos of a man that looks like my uncle or myself or cousin being murdered. And people are, it's good that people can see it, but at the same time, that's also damaging to the psyche. That's trauma. That is trauma. I ain't gonna go on a tangent, but yeah.
Uncle Karan.
Well, I was just trying to look up this Run the Jewels song that just came out.
Yeah.
Killer Mike.
Yeah.
Have you heard the album?
No, I don't. No. I'm not gonna. I don't want to lose followers, so no. I don't want to lose listeners, so no. I'll leave my opinion about Killer Mike to myself.
Well, just this song that he had. I personally thought it was good on the song Walking in the Snow, Devon. I showed you.
Yeah.
So he said, basically they promise education, but they really give you testing scores and the prediction of prison population by who's scoring the lowest. And usually the lowest scores and the poorest are the ones who look like me, us. And every day on the evening news, they feed you fear for free. And you so numb, you watch the cops choke out a man like me until you hear my voice go from a shriek to a whisper, I can't breathe. I was like, damn, that shit was crazy.
Yeah.
I hate using the term like, oh, media is out to get us, or the media. Everyone uses the media card a lot. Mm-hmm. And it is a big thing. Media they control what you see and how you essentially how you think at some points.
Yeah.
But it is, I'm trying to word this in a tasteful way. It's really hard to manipulate a video of somebody, your sister, or your friend, or somebody random person took on the side of the street and recorded and put a post on Facebook. Yeah. That's what's been going around lately. And I feel like, a lot of people will say like, oh, like the media is only posting what they want you to see. Like I've seen a lot of people like, they're only showing the videos of, George Floyd dying, but what about everyone, so this and that? But it's like, like the news didn't post this. I mean, they are now, but news didn't post this. I was like, some girl who saw this dude getting killed pulled her phone out and did what only thing she could do. I heard she's been catching flack, and I don't know why. She probably did the best thing you could do in a situation that a black person could do in a situation is pull your phone out and record. She had reacted, she could have got killed. So she recorded, and she essentially, not only did she, help bring these men to justice. She essentially, like, now that they're convicted and been fired, she probably prevented more deaths. So, but yeah, essentially, like, the media, I hate people saying, you know, the media controls that. The media on this side on this term is probably on our side the most lately, as I've seen. It looks like it's almost, to me, from living in the UK, it seems like, for me, what I see is the media is like not helping, or not want to say not helping or hurting, but it seems to be more geared towards, oh, Black Lives Matter, we improve Black people, and I'm not saying, you know, like, oh, like, I'm 100% happy about it, but I enjoy seeing the, like, almost having the privilege of knowing
The shift,
that,
the change.
yeah, seeing the shift, and I admit the fact that there's a privilege in that, and it's mind blowing. I can admit there's a privilege in seeing that, like, a white person can say something and now they're being scrutinized for it. But meanwhile, a Black person can say white people crazy and nothing happens. There's a privilege I have, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I accept that, and I can't accept that, and I laugh about it. Meanwhile, if I tell, you know John Smith, you know, like, yo, like, it's a privilege you have to, you know, walk outside, not worry about, you know, if your kid's about to get shot today. And they're like, you call me privileged? That's the N word. Like, whoa. Like, I don't think so. But something Devon said, before we change the subject real quick, you said something about changing, changing your lifestyle, like, or somebody, give somebody a second chance, you know, somebody saying something and then, like, canceling them and they never had a chance to redeem themselves. I just had a conversation with one of my good friends and the author, previous podcast I had, Malachi Bailey, the author of Her, and soon to be comic book. He's a homosexual Black male in America. And again, from the South, Christian family, growing up, your views and your outlook and how you say things about gay people in America or gay Black people in America, you know, it's kind of funny. You got a little sugar in his taste. Stuff you say is super insensitive. Or even the jokes and comments you say, like, oh, man, that's gay. Some you say it, and you say it in a derogatory way. Well, a long time ago, my friend Malachi, instead of unfriending me, instead of blocking me, he messaged me to the side, like, yo, you being really insensitive. Like, it's not okay. He's like, I'm like, yo, that dude look real kind of fruit. That dude look kind of gay once. I remember the conversation. He messaged me. He's like, yo, that's not cool. He's like, what do you mean? Like I said, you telling me this guy wasn't gay? And you like, what do you mean? And I was like, you know, he said that. I was like, oh shit, like, I'm uncomfortable. You know, like, and sometimes you do it to people. Sometimes people, like, you know, somebody make a joke at you, like, oh, he acting kind of dark. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, what do you mean? You know, sometimes you gotta check people, like, ask them what they mean. Yeah. And he did that to me, and I was like, and from that point on, I changed my mindset and I changed how I thought, changed how I wrote. And from that point, I never wrote, like, you know, that's gay. I didn't write, you know, oh man, that's some, like, he acting kind of funny. I stopped that. I completely cut that out. And I messaged him the other day. I was like, yo, I'm so sorry for a long time. Like, years ago when I said this and you called me out on it, I really appreciate it. And we put it in a comment string. We were commenting about back and forth, and, like, had people liking and comment. One girl was like, I love this energy going on. I love the fact that we can normalize change. And this is something you said, we don't allow people to change. Like, we'll cancel somebody and we'll like, oh, you canceled, in the trash, next, on to the next one. And we don't, so it's kind of like the prison, like we talk trash about prison reform. It's like, you know, prison reform is like, they send people to prison and nothing changes. They send them to prison and you get back out, changes. You know, like, essentially we do that with cancel culture. We cancel you, send you on your way, and then nothing changes. And so now you're just harboring that hate. So why can't I, instead of canceling you, look, you did this wrong, stop it, cut this out. You know, maybe he loses his position in school, but something else happens. Like, you're like, we could say, not saying contact, but something positive comes from it. Like, hey, he got message back. Like, hey, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Black community. I messed up. I'm from the whitest town in America. I've never encountered a Black person before. I didn't realize how hurtful my words were. He comes back and because that's happened. There has been situations where that has happened. And it happened to me. Like I said, I messaged my gay friend and I was like, yo, I'm so sorry for being insensitive. I didn't know that I was being insensitive. Yeah. You know, is that something like I said, you guys would like to, something you would accept? Like, would you believe that? Or is that something you could believe?
My thoughts. Cancel culture is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Because you fool around with cancel culture, that's everything.
Yeah.
But one thing I want to say about you, you was not ignorant. You was willing to, to listen, accept change, and be part of the solution.
Yeah.
how many people that's been canceled, they probably had these people in their lives try to pull them aside like they did you and refuse to listen. That it got so much like, okay, now they got so bold with their ignorance. They didn't know, boom, it got on social media somehow, and now they canceled. So I'm trying to say that they need people like your friend who pulled you to the side and like talk to you about it. But if that happens and they pull you aside and talk to you and you refuse to listen to them and continue to be ignorant, then it's on you then after that point. I don't think it's up to social media as a whole to, in a sense, give people second chances. If that person has somebody within their circle, somebody near them, try to help them out, expand their mind and open them up. If they refuse to do it then only want to open up when they in hot water, I don't know if I got too much sympathy for you, to be honest.
Yeah, Devon?
I want to say something about something you said because it popped up in my head. You said that the girl that recorded the video, she's getting a lot of hate, and I don't understand that either. Like you said, what do people expect for her to do? Here's one thing I've thought about, and I feel like as we move forward with life, and as 20 years goes by, we're gonna look back on this moment, and much like how we did with slavery. I don't know if y'all remember being in class and they started talking about slavery and runaway slaves, and you always got somebody in the class like, I couldn't have been no slave. I would have ran away, bro. The first night, master wouldn't be telling me what to do. I'd have been gone, boy. And then you had that
live back then.
Yeah. That's gonna be the same kind of talk that happens in about 20 years, bro. I couldn't have just sat by and watched somebody get killed. I would have went up to the police, bro. I would have put them in a chokehold and said, can you breathe? It's going to be people saying stuff like that. But it's different when you're actually there because you have to be concerned about your life, the well-being of people around you, and it's scary. It's like nobody expects to go to the corner store and then have to film somebody being murdered. Like, that's crazy. That's what I wanted to say about that. Change and cancel culture. I think.
Yeah, you got to be like careful because you won't get canceled.
Yeah. I think, man. If an individual chooses not to deal with somebody anymore, that's fine. That's your individual right.
Right.
You know,
your prerogative.
Yeah. Everybody. I think there should be different kinds of, like I said, cancel, suspension, whatever you want to call it. Because if you're a principal at a school and you're saying racist remarks or homophobic remarks, you shouldn't be a principal, right? You need to be removed from that position because you're influencing people. But if you're like, a struggling artist or whatever, and you ain't really got no real influence. I mean, I can decide myself not to deal with you, and my friends can decide not to deal with you. But we have freedom of speech. We do have that. People can say what they want, no matter how wrong it is, right? People can say what they want.
Right.
It's up to you as a person to decide if you're going to continue messing with them or not. Sometimes we make stuff kind of difficult.
It's funny you say that. I posted something the other day. It was like freedom of speech. It's your right. Freedom of speech is your right. However, end results may vary. Whatever you say to me, you have the right to say whatever you want to say to me. However, results may vary. You have
That's
the
other
right
point. That's the other point I wanted to make. I'm glad you said that. Everybody's not going to educate you, and you have to be aware of that. Like, thankfully, your friend was like, let me take the time to educate Justin. Everybody's not in that space. Some people are having a bad day, and some people they don't like. Sometimes I'm like, I don't have the time to educate an individual about their racism and their bigotry or whatever. Like I told you with my friend from elementary school, right? I ain't go back and forth with him. I just unfriended him because I'm like, I'm not in this space to educate you. You gotta be aware of that. Like you said, results vary.
Something like I saw it the other day, and I was like, man, yo, people talking real reckless, and like the whole thing of social media got people real comfortable with saying stuff without getting punched in the face for it. It's just a common thing with social media. Like I said, it's your right to say stuff. However, if you say it in my face, like you have the right to call me the N-word. That is your God-given right to physically say the N-word in my face. However, don't be surprised.
Yes.
Justin, game. I was in North Carolina last weekend, and I heard was a particular artist down there who has good business with people,
Yeah.
A lot of people of color said some crazy things, and now they trying to. Pretty much, I think he's getting pretty much canceled now. I don't want to give out the job title and all this stuff because I don't know who listen.
Yeah.
Should I? Nah. But particular personality who's being kind of canceled right now.
Is this in Washington?
Yes.
Oh, hit me up, after. Like,
Oh, wait, what?
yo, like, hold on, hold on, man. Don't nobody talk to me no more.
I'm weak.
Shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You heard
okay.
about him?
Yeah. I'll say it. I'll say who it is. I'll say it is. It's Tattoo Rich. Tattoo Rich is who it is. Old racist ass. Yeah, cancel his ass. I'm sorry. Absolutely. Excuse my language. Absolutely. I've seen that. I'm not. You know what? Tattoo Rich, everybody. That's who it is. Racist. Out here talking outside of his neck. That's what it is. I'm calling everybody out. I've deleted people. I've blocked people. I've been blocked.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care how you feel. I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
If you don't like, listen, this is essentially what it comes down to. I am forever, unapologetically, forever pro-black.
Yes.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're offended by me being black. I don't care if you're offended by me supporting black. I don't care if you offended by me sharing black good news. Because guess what? It's not stopping.
Yes.
So if you have a problem with that, unfriend me, block me, talk to neck how you want to. Again, results may vary. But on a positive note,
put that on a t-shirt.
I was just thinking that, bro. I was just thinking that. Results may vary. Say what you want, but results may vary.
On a positive note, let's get into some happy stuff. Juneteenth is coming up. Juneteenth, June 19th, 1865 was. You know what? I'm gonna give Devon the pleasure, because I see the joy light in his eyes. I'm giving him the pleasure of explaining Juneteenth to you guys.
So what I do know about it, because I'm not an expert on it,
right.
but Juneteenth was when a portion of individuals of African descent in the South found out that slavery was over. So slavery was supposedly ended with the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. By Abraham Lincoln, and I have my own thoughts on that. We're not gonna go into that.
Yep, that's not that because I have the same. All right, same. We'll do a separate. We'll do another one on that one.
for the purpose of this, where everybody can understand, right?
Yeah. Abe Lincoln ended racism.
Yes.
Ended slavery. That's
yes. For 2 years, there were individuals that would continue to be enslaved in the South. And I think it was mainly Texas.
Texas, yeah.
And they found out on June 19th. 1865 that slavery had ended. Crazy. 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
This is for people who don't know, Juneteenth, June 19th. It's a massive day. I didn't start personally celebrating it until a couple years, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, personally, because I didn't know about it. It's something I wasn't taught about. And I just kind of came across it one day when I was looking at an old post. I was going through Instagram post, and somebody was like, "Oh, happy Juneteenth." I was like, "What is Juneteenth?" So I look into it, and I was just like, "Yo, like this is real." Like people didn't know, like slavery. I guess essentially slavery didn't end until 1865, and this is a massive day. Like people weren't free. Like everyone wasn't free on July 4th, 17 something other. I don't know, whatever. The Independence Day of America.
That's not our date.
Yeah, it's not my day. My asses weren't free. While y'all was out here celebrating, signing paperwork with powder wigs on, my people out here plowing the fields, building your country for you. So, you essentially almost 100 years later, you tell me my people were free. Like, cool. So I'm going to. I put more effort into that day than I'm going to your day. So I love this. I love Juneteenth. I think everyone should celebrate it. I'm seeing now more businesses are giving again to your face. Oh, have a day off. Take the win. Sometimes take the win. Have a day off. It's a holiday. It's not a federal holiday yet. I do see. I'm telling you because I see how that president dude how he be working. The whole thing he set up in Tulsa.
Yes.
And he had this exact same day as Juneteenth,
Yes.
and he had everything set up. But for people who don't know, that president dude, he set up his was it a Trump rally or a rally for himself
another rally.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if people who aren't aware, that is where essentially Black Wall Street was. Am I correct?
Yeah. One of them.
Safe for saying that.
Where one of them was, yeah.
One of them was, yeah, and it was where a mass massacre, a massacre of African Americans happened. A huge massacre. And if you look it up, you just look up Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, and it is going to be what we're talking about. And he set up a rally on I guess essentially one of the biggest African American holidays in America. And so, but luckily, I just read he changed it because
he did.
Because of insensitivity. I think I see him pandering soon and be like, you know what? I think, guys, that this is a very bad. My black friends told me this is a very big day, very, very, very big day. So I'm going to make this a federal. I'm signing a proclamation now that this is a federal holiday for everyone. Everyone celebrate. This just should be as big, but not as big as July 4th, because that was the day that America, not China, America was free. I see it coming. I see it's happening. It's gonna happen soon.
You sound like him.
It's gonna happen, and it's sick. I know, but it's annoying. But if people, I see it coming. I see him pandering, and I see him like for votes. I'm gonna make Juneteenth a holiday, a real holiday,
and I'll take the win. And for people who don't like that, do like how black people do with most of the holidays. Just take the day off. You ain't got to celebrate. For everybody's like, June 16th off. Just take the day off, bro.
Go
watch some Netflix.
Yeah, go get drunk.
Like,
enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Do you? So sorry, we went off on tangents left and right. It's almost like I want to do another podcast with you guys because this is so much fun. I do want to kind of come to a close, but I want to ask you guys a serious question, because this is one question that was burning in my mind the whole time I was waiting for this podcast to happen. As a culture, do you feel that we are too welcoming? And this is speaking up from any point in history. I'm talking about from back to Timbuktu. I mean, I'm talking back to us allowing people in Africa to learn from our culture, to learn from our styles. This is coming from our music. This is coming from our dances. This is coming from our songs. This is coming from. Do you think black people as a whole, as a culture, are too accepting? And I'm going to Quran first. What do you think?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, I do.
Devon?
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm saying yes. Pros and cons. Go ahead, Devon.
I have so many thoughts about that, man. Because there's so much like behind it, you know. I'm not gonna take up a lot of time. Short answer, I would say yes, but there's so much behind that. There's so much behind that. Yeah.
I will say for myself, I think so, because I think looking back into history, and like I said, I didn't know about a lot of stuff. You know, it's a lot of my history came back from listening to music. You know, I was like, I listened to a Nas song a couple years back, and it was like, you know, like talking about Timbuktu, the Nas in that Nas song. Like,
yes.
And I was like, what? I was like, this can't be real. I look into it, and it was real, like legit.
Yeah.
People from across the world came to learn from African culture, and it came from African libraries, and in return to us being our people being so welcoming, in return they burn us up down. African countries allowed people in to come learn about their culture, learn about, you know, how they do the government, how they do food, how they grow food, and like how they give money out. And in return, they took people back for slaves.
Which people, Justin? That's my question too.
Okay. Enlighten me.
No. Don't do this.
They put you on the spot, Justin.
Which people? And this is for you too, Karan. But which people? Which people were too welcoming?
You the educated one, and did you went to school for blackness? Come on now.
We're not a monolith. There's so many different ethnic groups, cultures, languages, traditions, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in America. If you look at America as a microcosm of Africa, with us having different cultures. Amongst Black people, you got the Southern Blacks, you got the West Coast Blacks, you got the East Coast, you got Northerners, all different, right? Midwest. We talk different. We got different customs, traditions, different kinds of food that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so hard sometimes for us to be like, what do Black people need? Because we're all different and we look at ourselves as different. Even if you look at it on a smaller level, you have heterosexual Blacks, you have homosexual Blacks. We'll beef between that. You got light-skinned Blacks, you got dark-skinned Blacks. We'll beef between that as well. So it's like, I think one of the solutions to this, to us being better, is Pan-Africanism, which is us understanding that yes, we're all different, but we all have a shared ancestry, which is Africa. And we're all being oppressed and abused seemingly worldwide. So what are some common things that we need as a people, which is going to be hard to determine, but I think it's necessary because we're not all the same.
Yeah.
We're not. But, we got to stop fighting. We got to stop fighting.
Yeah.
Got to protect each other too. We got to protect each other because.
But what about black on black crime? I'm kidding. Oh my God, I'm kidding.
But yeah, somebody would say that though, right?
Somebody gonna question that now once they listen to this podcast.
Yeah, it's like, oh man,
what
Devon,
about it?
Devon said, y'all need to worry about black on black crime. We don't worry about us killing y'all. But no, I agree with you guys 100%. Like I said, if you guys, you know what, I'm gonna leave this on a wonder. If you guys have more questions or you're more interested in anything we talked about today, go listen to the Redirect podcast. I've learned a lot more than I'm happy to say I should have known a lot more than I have. But listening to this podcast, I've learned a lot. If you can go back and listen to that Black History Month podcast, that was probably the most enlightening one I've ever listened to. Honestly, I enjoyed that one a lot. That's what got me really
What was one of your names up there, Devon? Do you remember?
Shoot, I don't. M'Baku, T'Challa, it was something. It was a mix of Black Panther character names.
But it's a good mix between, like Devon having his background. I was going to say African American studies, something like that. What was it?
Yeah.
And then and Quran just being just the light. I'm sorry, Devon, not to be rude to you. Quran is the lighthearted funny guy. I'm sorry. And but that's how Quran always been. He's always been the funny guy of the group.
Yeah, it's a good balance, right?
It's a good podcast, and it makes me jealous I don't have a co-host yet. But I do appreciate you guys taking time to come out and talk to me. I hope this podcast finds everyone well. If not, there's a delete button. But I hope everyone stays safe, stays healthy, be well, and make good choices.